Part 1. The Hidden Game. Are you a player or a piece? There is a person in your life right now who smiles at you often. Perhaps they are a colleague, a friend, even someone you believe is close. But in the quiet theater of their mind, behind the curtain of that smile, they see you as a simple, useful tool, an instrument for their goals, a pawn in their game. You think this isn't about you? You believe your connections are built on a foundation of genuine respect and sincerity? That belief, that very comfort, is the most vulnerable square on your entire board. Your position is weaker than you can possibly imagine. Because the first and most critical step toward being put in checkmate is an absolute, unconditional faith in your own safety among those around you. 500 years ago, Machiavelli diagnosed this condition of the human soul. He understood that the world is not a friendly gathering, it is a grand chessboard of competing ambitions, hidden desires, and silent strategies. And until this very moment, you have been moving across it like a predictable piece, making the moves you were taught to make. But you are not playing against other pieces. You are playing against players. They do not see the game from your limited perspective. They see the entire board. They see the patterns, the geometry of power, and the invisible lines of influence. They are calculating your reactions 10 steps ahead because they have studied you. They have studied your predictable decency. In their strategic calculus, your kindness is not a virtue. It is a positional weakness that can be exploited without limit. Your trust is not a gift. It is an exploitable opening they can drive their entire strategy through. Your integrity is a rigid line of movement they can easily predict and counter. You hold on to the belief that your friends are loyal, that your colleagues are straightforward, that people's words are a true map of their intentions. It is a comforting thought, a warm light in a world that can often feel cold and uncertain. It feels like home. And here lies an extremely great danger. You, realizing that you are being taken advantage of, can renounce all your good qualities. You can stop being good, honest, and trusting. But then truly good people will suffer. There are such, definitely. There are those who treat you sincerely, those who value you rather than take advantage of you. You need to learn to distinguish such people. In this video, you will learn to do this. Subscribe to this channel to learn to see and understand this world as it is, and not as you were taught to see it for others' own benefit. But what if I told you that this very comfort is the most sophisticated weapon used against you? What if that feeling of safety is the anesthetic they administer before they make the incision? It is designed to dull your senses, to lower your guard, to ensure you don't feel the blade of their true intention until it is already done. They rely on your belief in the goodness of the world to execute moves that are anything but good for you. By the end of this video, you will no longer be a piece in their game. The fog will lift. The board will become crystal clear. You will be elevated, transformed from the pawn into the player. You will possess the vision to see the entire board. You will not just anticipate their next move, you will see the silent, overarching strategy that powers all of their actions. And with this profound clarity, you will finally understand how to act, what practical methods to apply, and how to protect what is yours with quiet, unshakable strength. But to acquire this grandmaster vision, this sight that penetrates the veil of social pleasantries, you must first understand the one crucial, unsettling secret. You must understand why this powerful diagnostic tool This way of seeing the hidden architecture of reality has been deliberately, systematically kept from you. Part 2, the forbidden playbook. So, you ask the critical question, why? Why has this vision, this way of seeing the world, been kept from you? Why aren't these principles of human nature taught in our schools alongside mathematics and history? Why do so many modern therapists and self-help gurus speak endlessly of vulnerability, radical acceptance, and unilateral trust? Here is the unsettling truth. A society of trusting vulnerable patients is stable, it is predictable, and it is incredibly easy to govern. A patient does what they are told. They trust the diagnosis without question. They take the medicine they are given, hoping it will work. They place their fate in the hands of others, believing in their good intentions. But a society of surgeons, that is something else entirely. A surgeon does not hope. A surgeon diagnoses. They do not trust pleasant symptoms. They look for the underlying cause. They see the sickness beneath the healthy-looking skin. A world filled with such people, people who can see, who can diagnose, who can act with precision, is a society of equals, a society of sovereigns. And a sovereign cannot be easily led or manipulated. This is why this knowledge has always been a secret, held in the quiet libraries of the powerful. Machiavelli did not write a self-help book for the masses. He wrote a strategic playbook for rulers, a private manual for those who were already in positions of immense power, or for those who had the ambition to seize it. He gave them the tools to see the world as it truly is, a complex, beautiful, and often ruthless landscape of power, ambition, and fear. He gave them the ability to see its deep geometry. This knowledge was considered dangerous, not because it is inherently evil, but because it is profoundly clarifying. It acts like a solvent, dissolving the thick, sweet coating of social pleasantries, polite fictions, and comforting illusions. It removes the veil, and what it reveals is the raw, calculating engine of human nature, the silent, ever-present pursuit of advantage that drives so much of what people do, even when they themselves are not conscious of it. You, on the other hand, have been encouraged to focus on the surface. You have been told to look for trivial cues, for the tells of a bad liar. You've been instructed to watch for body language, the crossed arms, the shifty eyes, the nervous twitch. That is children's medicine. It is a nursery rhyme taught to keep you distracted. Those surface signals are often meaningless, and worse, they are easily faked. A skilled operator knows you are looking for crossed arms, so they will present you with open, welcoming palms while they plan a move that will destroy your position. They know you are listening for a tremor in their voice, so they will practice their delivery until it is as smooth as polished stone. This focus on the superficial is a form of misdirection, designed to keep your eyes on the magician's left hand while the right hand prepares the real trick. We are going far beyond those surface moves. We are not here to look at the trembling hands of the amateur. We are here to study the mind of the grandmaster. Together, we are going to explore the three fundamental pillars of human strategy. These are not 1,000 complicated tricks. They are three timeless, elegant principles that govern all human interaction. And you will be shocked, not by their complexity, but by their profound simplicity. They are as logical and as unbreakable as the laws of physics. Once you see them, you will never be able to unsee them. They will activate a new kind of sight within you, allowing you to perceive the hidden architecture of every conversation, every negotiation, and every relationship in your life. The world of fog is about to recede, replaced by one of crystal clarity. So let us begin. It is time to perform your first scan, to learn the foundational technique for diagnosing the most common feature of the social world, the mask that everyone wears. Part 3, First Scan, Seeing Past the Social Mask. Let us begin with Machiavelli's first, most fundamental truth. Every person you meet is an actor on a stage, and their primary unspoken goal is to hide the script. They have lines they have rehearsed, a character they have perfected. Your mistake has been to believe that this character is real. Therefore, the first rule of this new science is this: forget their words. Words are the costume. They are the beautiful, carefully chosen scenery. We are not interested in the scenery. We are interested in the structural integrity of the stage itself. Your first diagnostic tool is designed to find the hidden fractures in their performance. We will call it the scanner for cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance, in its simplest form, is the state of internal conflict that arises when a person's actions are not in harmony with their beliefs or their words. For the skilled diagnostician, this conflict is not a flaw, it is a signal. It is a subtle tear in the fabric of their performance, a hairline crack in the social mask. Your job is to find it. How? You look for the profound mismatch between the energy of their words and the cold, hard geometry of their actions. Consider the person who offers excessive, effusive praise. Their words are a shower of warmth and admiration. But observe more deeply. The praise is a little too sweet, delivered a little too fast, perhaps a fraction too loud. This is not genuine appreciation. This is an anesthetic. It is a calculated move designed to lower your defenses, to make you feel indebted, to create a sense of reciprocal obligation. They are calming the patient before the procedure. Now consider the opposite, the person who engages in constant public self-deprecation. They speak of their own flaws, their own inadequacies. The audience sees humility. The diagnostician sees a brilliant strategic move. By publicly claiming a low-status position, they remove themselves as a target. They make you underestimate their ambition. It is a smokescreen designed to allow them to maneuver and acquire power while everyone else's attention is focused on the more obvious, overt threats. These are the first, most obvious fractures in the mask. But the true data, the purest signals, are found in the unconscious choices a person makes. Their words can be controlled, but their bodies still whisper the truth. A person's words might say, "I am a team player, we are all equal here." But observe the geometry of their actions in a meeting. Where do they choose to sit? Is it at the head of the table, even when it's not their meeting? Or is it directly beside the person of highest authority? This is not a random choice. It is an unconscious bid for power, a physical alignment with the source of influence. Observe the pauses in their speech when you challenge one of their ideas. Is the pause filled with thoughtful reflection, or is it a brief, almost imperceptible moment of calculation where they are searching for the most advantageous response rather than the most honest one? Observe the direction of their gaze. Think of that colleague who over-compliments your work. You feel a flush of pride exactly as they intended, but in that split second after they deliver the line, where do their eyes go? Do they look at you to see your reaction, Or do they dart across the room to see if the boss was watching their performance of being supportive? Who in the room are they really performing for? This is how you begin. You stop being a passive member of the audience mesmerized by the show. You become the discerning critic, the skilled diagnostician. You stop listening to the performance and you start observing the performer. You learn to see the tension, the dissonance, the tiny tales that reveal the actor's true script. This is the surface scan. It is powerful. It will immediately change the way you perceive the world around you. But it is only the first layer. It shows you the cracks in the mask, but it doesn't show you what lies behind it. To do that, we must go deeper. It is time to activate the X-ray. Part 4. X-ray vision, deciphering the core motive. What you have learned so far is a vital first step. Diagnosing the mask, seeing the dissonance between words and actions, this is the foundational skill. But it is not the end point. These observations are merely symptoms. Opening moves and feints, compliments and criticisms, they are the tactics, not the grand strategy. To truly understand the game, you must look past the maneuvers and see the engine that powers them all. There is only one logic that truly matters on the chessboard of human interaction. It is the raw, unyielding, and universal engine of self-interest. Machiavelli would laugh at many of our modern complex psychological theories. He would see them as elegant but unnecessary detours. For him, the path to clarity was brutally direct. There is only one question you ever need to ask yourself when trying to understand another person's actions. Not, what are they saying? Not even, what are they feeling? But the one true diagnostic question. What position are they playing for? Every move, every word, every gesture is a piece being moved to a more advantageous square on the board. When you begin to see the world through this lens, the confusing fog of social interaction evaporates, and what is left is a crystal clear chessboard. Think of the person who comes to you with a seemingly wonderful opportunity, a win-win proposition. The old you would get caught up in the excitement, in the potential benefits. The new you, the diagnostician, pauses. You turn on the X-ray and you ask the question, if I accept this, what part of their end game is achieved? How does my yes move their most important pieces into a stronger position? The opportunity might still be good for you, but you will now see its true purpose within their larger strategy, and you can engage with your eyes wide open. Consider the person who constantly complains to you about their life, their struggles, their victimhood. The old you would feel sympathy, a natural and human response. But sympathy is an emotional lever. The diagnostician asks, what move do they want my sympathy to make for them? Do they seek validation to avoid responsibility? Do they do anything to change their situation, or do they just always complain and not listen to advice? Do they want me to lower my expectations of them? Are they positioning themselves as the underdog to make a future request? You can still offer compassion, but you will no longer be an unwitting pawn in a game of emotional death. When you stop hearing the noise of their words and start seeing the cold, hard logic of positional advantage, the entire world transforms. Their actions cease to be random or emotionally driven. Instead, they become a coherent, logical language. You start to see the geometry of their ambition. You see what they are truly building move by move, day by day. But a question naturally arises in a decent heart. Isn't this cynical? What about genuine kindness? What about selfless acts? Yes, they exist. And this X-ray vision is the only tool that allows you to see them in their purest form. Genuine kindness, true stewardship of others, has its own unique and consistent strategic logic. It seeks no positional advantage. It is a move that strengthens the whole board, not just one player's position. True generosity doesn't create a hidden debt that will be called in later. True support doesn't maneuver you into a weaker square. This kindness is pure, sincere. It is felt immediately as a force of construction, not manipulation. You will learn to distinguish this authentic light from the artificial glow of allure. A manipulator's kindness is always a gambit, a sacrifice of a small piece to capture a much larger one later. Their generosity is an investment that they expect to yield a high return. The Grandmaster's vision allows you to see that hidden objective. Part 5. The critical blind spot, your own assumptions. You have come to the most painful lesson. It is the one that requires the most courage to face, because it forces you to confront not the enemy across the board, but the saboteur within your own mind. The greatest weakness that will ever cloud your judgment, the one flaw that will make you misread the entire board and walk willingly into a trap, is not their deception. It is your own thoughtlessness and hope in people. Specifically, it is your hope that your opponent will not play to win. It is your hope that they will make a foolish move out of kindness. Your hope that they see the world as you do, that they value the things you value. It is the quiet, desperate wish that the person in front of you is the character they are playing and not the strategist behind the mask. This is the malignant blunder that has cost you more than any other. Machiavelli begged us to understand this one central principle. You must operate from the assumption that your opponent is brilliant. Assume they are a grand master. Assume their every move is intentional, their every word is chosen with purpose, and their entire strategy is aimed at achieving a victory. Do not grant them the benefit of incompetence. Do not write off a damaging action as a simple mistake. See it for what it is, a move on the board. This does not mean you must become a cynic. This is not a command to trust no one. That is the philosophy of a fearful amateur. The Grandmaster's path is different. It means you stop investing your trust in promises and start investing it in patterns. Trust is not a leap of faith. It is a conclusion based on evidence. Genuine kindness, true integrity is a sound and predictable strategy. It is demonstrated over time through consistent play, even when that play is difficult. A person of character makes moves that are coherent and principled, even when it puts them at a short-term disadvantage. Their actions, over months and years, build a solid, defensible structure on the board. You can see its logic, its strength, its reliability. That is what you trust. You trust the visible history of their strategy, and you understand that this person can really be trusted. It can be relied upon because it is time-tested. Manipulation, by contrast, is a chaotic and opportunistic pattern. Its moves are not guided by principle, but by the scent of weakness. A manipulator's strategy shifts and attacks based purely on opportunity and profit. One day they are your most devoted friend. The next, they use a piece of your private information against you for a minor gain. Their history is not a fortress. It is a series of scattered, opportunistic raids. Your job is not to believe in good people. Your job is to become a master at reading the entire strategic history of the players in your life. You zoom out from the single move that is happening today, and you look at the last 20 moves they have made, What story does that pattern tell? Does it tell a story of construction, of mutual support, of principled play? Or does it tell a story of chaos, of advantage seeking, of moves that consistently weaken those around them? The truth is written there in the unerasable record of their actions. But this feels cold, doesn't it? To let go of that simple, childlike faith in others. It feels like entering a world without warmth. It is not cold, it is clear. And in that clarity, you will find a more profound and stable kind of warmth than you have ever known. This clarity is a sacred gift you give yourself. It allows you to invest your alliances, your loyalty, and your heart with strategic precision in those people who truly deserve it. You will pour your energy into those whose actions prove they are building a kingdom alongside you, not just playing for their own victory. And you will learn to defend yourself from the reckless, emotional, and opportunistic attacks of others without being drawn into their chaos. You stop gambling on hope and you start investing in proven character. You stop being a victim of your own wishful thinking and become a sovereign reader of reality. You are no longer reacting to their latest move with surprise and pain. You are seeing the pattern, understanding the strategy, and preparing your response with calm, deliberate wisdom. But a grandmaster does not merely read the board and react to threats. A grandmaster, once their position is secure, begins to dictate the play. It is time to move from defense to action. Part 6, the Strategist's Toolkit. From observation to influence, reacting is the fate of the amateur. It is the destiny of the piece, not the player. The amateur spends their life responding to the moves of others, defending, retreating, recovering. The master, however, acts. The master sets the tempo of the game. We will now move from the passive calculation of diagnosis to the art of actively shaping the board. This is not about aggression. It is about initiative. This is the Grandmaster's 3-step sequence to establish control, clarity, and order in the game of your life. Step 1. Probe their defenses with a controlled gambit. An amateur waits for a crisis to reveal a person's true character. By then, it is too late. The damage is done. The master does not wait for the storm to test the foundation of the house. You create small, controlled tests in times of calm. This is your gambit. You offer a small piece to gain a wealth of information. For example, you can share a piece of harmless, neutral, but slightly incorrect information with a specific person. A minor detail about a project, a mistaken date for a non-critical event. Then you watch. Does that incorrect information travel? Does it get used in a surprising way? Does it come back to you twisted from another source? Their handling of this worthless secret gives you a pure, untainted sample of their discretion and loyalty. Or make a small, inconvenient request. Not a burden, but something that requires a minor sacrifice of their time or comfort. Observe their reaction closely. Is there an immediate, almost imperceptible flash of irritation before the polite smile appears? Is their yes accompanied by a list of conditions and future expectations? Or is their assistance given freely and without calculation? Their response to a small inconvenience reveals their core attitude towards you far more than their response to a grand opportunity. You are not judging them. You are gathering data. Step 2. Expose their operating system with a tactical probe. Every person has a hidden operating system, the deep, often unconscious programming of their ego. Flattery in the hands of a master is not a compliment. It is a scanning tool. It is a tactical probe sent to map this hidden system. You do not praise a person for their obvious strengths. That is what amateurs do. Instead, you praise them with sincerity for a quality they are secretly insecure about. Praise the micromanager for their trust in the team. Praise the chronically indecisive person for their bold leadership. Praise the person obsessed with status for their humble and down-to-earth nature. Then, observe. An emotionally secure person will accept the compliment gracefully, perhaps with a touch of surprise. But an insecure person, the person whose ego is a fragile construct, will react with an overeager, almost desperate hunger. They will latch on to the praise, expand upon it, and in their enthusiasm, they will reveal the deep anxieties and desires that truly drive them. You have just found the master password to their operating system. You now understand what they truly crave and what they truly fear. Step 3. Control the board with the principle of consequence. This is the most crucial and most misunderstood step. It is not about anger, revenge, or punishment. Those are the clumsy, emotional reactions of a weak player. This is about establishing a firm, predictable, and non-emotional law within your own kingdom. People around you must understand, through calm and consistent action, that crossing your clearly defined boundaries results in a predictable, logical, and non-negotiable shift in the position to their disadvantage. When someone betrays your trust, you do not lash out. You calmly and quietly withdraw a degree of access and opportunity. When someone takes credit for your work, you do not complain. You ensure that the next time your contributions are documented and presented in a way they cannot co-opt. You don't become cruel. You become a law of the board. Your response is not a storm of emotion. It is as quiet and reliable as the law of gravity. This consistency is what creates true respect. It teaches others the rules of engagement in your world. A question naturally arises. Isn't this just a more sophisticated form of manipulation? A powerful tool is, by its nature, neutral. A surgeon's scalpel can be used to heal or to harm. Part 7. The final choice. An exploiter or an architect? This knowledge is now yours. It is a powerful opening into a new way of seeing the world. A sharp, tactical understanding has been placed into your hands. Like a finely crafted blade, you see the game on the grand chessboard. You see the silent logic of ambition, the hidden weaknesses in every position, and the invisible currents of power that flow between people. You see it all with a clarity that is likely both exhilarating and deeply unsettling. And now, standing here in this new illuminated reality, you have a choice. You stand at a crossroads, and there are only two paths leading forward. The first is the path of the tyrant. It is the path of the aggressor, the scoundrel, the petty ruler of a small and fearful kingdom. This is the person who takes this knowledge and sees it only as a weapon. They use it to attack, to manipulate, to dominate. They see the weaknesses in others not as wounds to be understood, but as openings to be exploited. They use the scanner for cognitive dissonance to sow discord. They use the X-ray of self-interest to turn people against each other for their own gain. They win battles. They conquer small territories of influence. But their victory is always hollow, because their kingdom is built on a foundation of fear and suspicion. They sit on a lonely throne, forever paranoid, seeing every other player as a threat to be neutralized. Their life becomes a grim, endless game of defense, and they die surrounded by spoils, but starved of trust. Then there is the other path, the path of the wise sovereign. The sovereign understands that this knowledge is not a weapon of aggression, but a tool of order and creation. They are the master strategist whose ultimate goal is not to conquer, but to build. They use this profound clarity not to exploit the weaknesses of others, but to defend the innocent and the well-intentioned from those who would. Your clarity becomes a shield for the people you care about. Your understanding of strategy allows you to create an environment where trust, creativity, and genuine connection can finally flourish, safe from the games of the manipulator. You do not use this knowledge to dominate. You use it to illuminate. You become a steward of your own world. You build a kingdom, your career, your family, your community, founded not on the shifting sands of fear, but on the immense, unshakable power of your clarity. You see the manipulator's gambit, and you do not fall for it. You see the hidden ambition, and you are not fooled by it. You see the genuine act of kindness, and you invest in it with your full heart, knowing it is real. Machiavelli never told the prince which path to choose. He only laid out the board and explained the rules of the game. He knew that the ultimate strategic choice was not about tactics, but about character. And so the choice is now yours. Will you be the tyrant of a small and bitter game, or the sovereign of a vast and thriving kingdom? This is not just a choice about how you will interact with others. It is the final choice about who you will become. It is a choice about the kind of world you wish to create, starting with the sacred territory of your own life. You have seen the hidden architecture of the world. Now, you must decide what you will build. Now, go to the comments and share the most brilliant, most elegant strategic move you have ever witnessed in your life, whether for good or for ill, and what it taught you.